Hey guys, so this is What If Daku was the son of Konshu, part 1. Now, basically, this has been delayed for a few days. And also, after this video, I am going to be uploading, I'm going to be grinding these next few weeks. Basically, these next few weeks, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos and just overall just trying to get back on track. Now, basically, let's just dive right into the what if. Now, before I get any closer into the what if, before I dive into it, I'm going to be uploading 4 videos I've already scheduled for this week or for next or this weekend, basically. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I'm going to start recording and upload What If Daku Was Colossus Part 5, I think. And also, What If Ben 10 was in Young Justice Part 10, and that's been I said I was going to make that what if 7 days ago. So yeah, I'm basically going to be recording that after this video is uploaded and uploading it tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. And on Wednesday, the Colossus what if is going to come out, and on Thursday is going to be my Black Panther and Predator stop motion. My Predator stop motion, basically, Black Panther versus Predators. I'm going to be recording. I already finished all the editing, sound effects. It's going to be a very good stop motion. But basically, if any of you guys know if the Predator, theme song, is it copyright? Because I put it in a YouTube short review on a Predator action figure a year ago. My channel was just starting out, and I didn't get copyrighted. But yet again, I wasn't monetized yet, so I don't know if it's copyrighted or not. But just go in the comments and tell me. Also, if you're interested in voice acting, because I do need a voice actor for Quicksilver and Black Panther, just hit me up in the comments. Pitch your Instagram, I'll hit you up, or you can just go to the description. I'll have my Instagram right there. And if I forget, I'll just say right now, my Instagram username is basically the same username as my YouTube channel. Just look it up. You'll see an action figure icon, and you'll see it. You'll see it. You'll see it. But basically, yeah. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let's just dive right into the what if. Now, let's begin with our story in the early Egyptian periods where Egyptian gods were still worshipped. And they kind of still are, but not as a big extent as they were before in the Egyptian times. Now, during the Egyptian era, as Konshu would be banished, Konshu would have looked or sought after a champion. Now, he would have sought out a champion, and this champion would have been the ancestor of Daku, or mainly, to be more precise, the ancestor of Inca Midoriya. An ancestor of Inca Midoriya would have looked like a spitting image of Deku's mother, literally exactly the same, with just white hair, the only difference. Now, basically, this Inca would have been a slight of, let's say, maiden, but she would have been treated horribly because of the color of her hair, saying that she was an abomination. Now, basically, she would have been filled with rage, anger, and torment, but still having willpower to put on her face, to act kind, and still have a glimmer of hope in her body, a glimmer, just shine of goodness, for her to still become good in the eyes of Anubis, the scales, per se. Now, basically, what would happen during those years to come, as Inko's ancestor would have been tormented, as she would have been slowly driven over the edge. So basically, during these events, Konshu would have sought after Inko as sort of a champion, seeing that her willpower was more like a gift than anything, something out of this world that he's never seen before. As her willpower would be so strong to a point where Konshu would have been able to, manipulate her to be, in fact. Guys, so this is What If Daku Was the Son of Konshu, Part 1. Now, basically, before I get into the what if, let's talk a little bit about my upload period, my upload time, and it's all out of whack. Now, I took a little bit of a week or 7-day break, and I haven't uploaded that much, but basically I'm going to be starting to upload a lot more. Now, after this video drops, and you see this, I will start to I would probably be right now at this point recording, or pretty much, recording What If Benton Was in Young Justice Part 10. Now, basically, this What If, it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be a continuation, but I'm also going to be introducing a certain character in the thumbnail. Now, other than that, I'm also going to start pretty much recording this What If, and uploading it later that evening on Wednesday, right after the Moon Knight finale episode drops. I should have released this doing the Moon Knight finale. I actually may do that, guys. So if you see this video, I don't know if future me will upload it doing, Wednesday, or maybe just plain on today. But you're gonna get a video today, aka Monday. But if I don't upload this on Monday, you'll get either the Benton What If or this What If Daku Was Colossus Part 4. Now, I'm going to be recording this on Wednesday, right after I upload my other stop motion on Wednesday, if I upload this video on Wednesday, if you see this on Wednesday. So yeah, but most likely I want to upload it on Monday, May 2nd, so yeah. Other than that, I also have another Moon Knight pretty much video I'm making, so I'm gonna start recording this on Wednesday right after I start recording What If Daku Was Colossus Part 4. So you're gonna get a What If, or a Moon Knight What If, on Wednesday nonetheless. And also this weekend, or on Thursday or Friday, I'm gonna be dropping my Black Panther vs. Predator stop motion that's already done. Basically, I've already done the editing, the sound effects, and go in the comments, guys. I don't know if the Predator theme song is copyright or not. Is it? Or can you use it if you just give credit to the people that have made the song in the description? I don't really know. Now, basically, this stop motion is 6 minutes long, and right now, pretty much where I'm at right now with the editing, all I gotta do is the voice acting. It's it's really good, actually. I feel like this is the best stop motion I've made ever, actually. Probably the most stop motion I've put the most work into, because this stop motion has been delayed for multiple months. So yeah. So basically, guys, when you see the stop motion, it's most likely gonna come out this weekend, or Friday or Thursday or Friday. So yeah. So yeah, if you like my stop motions, this is way better than the stop motions I've uploaded. So please go watch this on Thursday or Friday, please, guys. I also need voice actors for Quicksilver and Black Panther. I already have a voice actor for Young Spider-Man or Tom Holland Spider-Man. This is gonna be me. The voice actor I have for younger Spider-Man, because I used this Spider-Man for Young Spider-Man in my latest stop motion, Time Wars. I'm canceling that. I feel like I just rushed that series, and I was just trying to prove a point about my stop motions, but I didn't really put enough time and effort in those videos. So I'm just going to, and my episode 2 is pretty good, but I might cancel it. But yeah, so basically, Black Panther vs. Predators, I'm going to be uploading that either Friday, Thursday, or this weekend. No later, because I really want to get this video out there. And if I can't find a voice actor for Black Panther, I'm probably just going to mute him. I'm probably just going to mute the guy. Now, Quicksilver, if any of you guys could play like a cocky, speedster type character, kind of like Quicksilver from Brotherhood of Evil, or Quicksilver from X-Men Evolution, so you could do a voice like that, kind of like a Flash or Sonic type voice, just hit me up in the description. I'll leave my Instagram so you can message me, or you could just pick down your Instagram and I'll message you. So yeah, So those are the only stop motions and what is that are coming out this week. Next week, I'm going to be making a whole, lineup of, pretty much thumbnails of videos I'm making next week, because I'm going to get back on track and do my normal upload period of 5 videos a school week, or 5 videos a week. Now, basically, let's just dive right into the video. We start our story off with Izuku Midoriya. As we will start story off doing the canon start of the What If, or the canon start of the anime, we will see Deku basically going down the street with his mother. He will be about 5, going to the quirk doctor. As Deku will be on his way to the quirk doctor, he would have had some sort of wristband on, him coming from the hospital about a week ago. Him just not taking the wristband off, him feeling connected to the hospital in some way. Now, as we get switched later on in flashback, we see that Deku has exactly the same origin as Mark Spector would have, or Mark Spector had in, the comic books. His father, or him being, pretty much, kidnapped, tortured, and most of all, just, broken. Him having a mental breakdown, but he wouldn't start to get multiple personalities until he found out he was quirkless, as we switch to present time. As pretty much Deku wouldn't now have a brother, him basically just having, almost getting there to the point where he started to get mental disorders. Now, basically, doing these mental disorders and basically outbreaks of rage and panic and a bunch of other stuff, as pretty much Deku slowly would have started to get deeper into the, pool of insanity. Now, during this time, we will see that Deku's father would be abusive to his mother, him blaming Deku for the miscarriage of Inko's second child, because when Inko was pretty much, carrying Deku basically had a twin that merged into Deku's body, since his other twin was too weak to stay alive in the womb. Deku's father finding this out, him being mad at Deku for no reason, him just wanting a second child. Now, basically, pretty much him saying that you killed your sister, and basically what I mean by absorb, I don't mean absorb. It's kind of what I mean is that the umbilical cord wrapped around Deku's twin sister in the womb, him technically strangling her to death. But basically, what would happen during this time, pretty much Deku and his mother would have been abused by, Deku's father, him being a drunk alcoholic, just dirtbag. As he would also have a quirk, a fire-breathing quirk that he would use to burn Inko, and also hit, or, pretty much, burn Izuku. Him having burn marks on his arm, him always wearing, white turtlenecks. Now, pretty much doing this, Deku would have been just one dramatic fall from going insane, to put it simple. As he would be told that he was quirkless, him even being more, broken. As Deku's father would have said, of course he's quirkless. Of course I have a quirkless son that killed his sister in the womb, that have caused my wife so much pain. Him being off a facade. Now, Inko would be depressed for about a year after Deku would be born, but her finding love in her heart to, love her son. But Deku's father would be on the other offensive, him hating Deku for, the reason I just explained. Now, Deku's father would have beaten him right after they got back to the house, him saying, "You're a quirkless nobody, you're nothing, you're a disgrace to this family, you're nothing." Him beating Deku senseless and starting to burn his arm. As Deku would get even more, let's just say, Deku would go more into the sand, let's just say Deku's not getting back from this one. Now, basically, after this, Deku will be sent to his room, as he would stay there for the next 3 days without food or water. Him almost about to starve. as he would be locked in the basement since he wouldn't have a room on the other, normal level. His room that was supposed to be his room or his sister's room now being a man cave for his dad. His dad not really caring for Daku much at all. Daku is sometimes even have to catch a hitchhiker or even have to ask the neighbor to drive him to the middle school or pretty much what we call in America elementary school. And basically him having to either run, walk, or even catch rides from strangers, taking a big risk to get to the school, to get his education. As over time, Deku would slowly and surely start to mature, him growing into about 14 years old. As he would be 14 years old, as he would have been, locked in the basement again for 3 days for no reasons, as his father would just feel like being on him. As pretty much Deku would be sitting there, dying, as his father would forget about Deku, him going on a trip, leaving his mother behind, as his mother, at this point, would have been in the hospital due to his sickness. His mother being in the hospital in pretty much a medical-induced coma, as Deku's father would have gone on a vacation, as Deku would have been stuck in the house, locked in his basement, and overall starving for the past week. Only a miracle, literally beyond pretty much science itself, for Deku to stay alive for a whole week with no water or no food, it being virtually impossible, but Deku was able to survive it. As Deku's father would be even more delayed, him having only 3 days before he has to get back to the house, and Deku being stuck there, him literally about to die. As Deku would reach out his hand, him wishing for some sort of hope, as Deku would hear a voice named Konshu. As Konshu would look at the Deku, he would tell Deku that "I'm here, my son." Him grabbing Deku by the arm and imbuing him with the power of Moon Knight, but not letting Deku really know it yet. But with that last straw, Deku almost dying, Deku found out he was quirkless, him being beaten over the years, he finally, broke. Him also being bullied by Bakugo as well, he just broke. He broke. And as he had the Moon Knight abilities, they were dormant in his body. The armor, everything. And he would have mystical armor as well, but it would have been more of a, let's say, military or like more of a comic book accurate type Moon Knight outfit. And basically what would happen during this, Deku would have just, over the following days, his multiple personality disorder would have started to show itself. Him losing chunks of his day. Basically, Deku, over time, developing the personality of Mark Spector, Stephen Grant just being the base personality since Deku was more of a Stephen Grant, and him basically having Mark Spector and Jake Lockley, the taxi driver. Now, he hasn't been introduced in the Moon Knight show yet, but maybe during the end credit scene, we'll see him getting information, and maybe, I really hope he comes across like a cameo, or at least like a Easter egg of Daredevil or Spider-Man in the finale. But basically what happened during this, Deku would start to lose chunks of his day, chunks of his life. As Deku would be a personality, Stephen Grant also being another personality, just because, so Deku would have about 4 personalities. Him, Azuka Midoriya, Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, the Playboy, him being a Playboy in this universe, him not being, a sack wuss boy, like in, the TV show. Him still being a good character nonetheless. He was pretty likable in the TV show, but still. So basically what would happen during this time, Deku losing chunks of his day, him eventually finding out why he's losing chunks of his day, and a bunch of other stuff. As Deku would slowly start to realize that he was having multiple personalities, as he would go to the doctors, and they would tell him what was going on with him. Telling him coming in and confessing about his father's abuse, and his father being put into pretty much, him being tracked down, and then looking at Deku's sores and cuts on his body, then putting Deku's father in jail. But Deku's father, knowing it was him swearing he would kill Deku when he was put into the, police car. Deku fearing for his life. as Deku would have been taken care of Matsuki Bakugo. Matsuki Bakugo taken in Deku as she would have told Bakugo to play nice. Bakugo bullying Deku for the rest of every morning, every night, and every day of his life for the past 2 years. As he would be about, let's say, 15 or 16, as Deku would have been just done with it. As Deku would have started to train for the entry exams, Bakugo telling him that you're nothing and you're worthless. As Deku would have started to feel that, he was started to lose confidence, started to doubt himself. Him one day, about, let's say, right after the last day of school, as he would be bullied by Bakugo, as he would be on the ledge about to jump off of the top of the school. As he was about to jump off, him having 1 foot off, him about to just end it all, as he would be stopped by some sort of hand behind him being anchored somehow. As he would be pulled back onto the roof, Konshu yelling at him saying, "How stupid are you? Are you gonna kill yourself over a blonde-headed idiot kid?" As Konshu would have shown himself to Deku, him being able to show himself to Deku, since Deku would be half Egyptian god. Now, I don't know if Egyptian gods are celestials or just entities in the Marvel Universe, but let's just say they're gods, and they're like anime gods in this universe. Now, pretty much Konshu would have been able to materialize his body into flesh and blood, being able to impregnate a woman, aka Inko, as Inko would have had an affair with Deku's father behind his back, but her not saying anything to Deku's father, as she would have been in love with Konshu, but Konshu telling her that is the best for everybody if you stay with, you stay with Asashi, as she says, Asashi's abusive, he hurts Deku, and you have to save us. Konshu saying that is for the best, is for time, is literally what Deku needs to grow and succeed, but Konshu not telling him that. Konshu saying that he always wanted to save Deku, that he always was there, watching Deku, trying to fight, or trying to keep him alive. Him then and there blocking punches that would have killed him from his father, or just dimming the flames that would have burned Deku alive later in his life, or earlier in his life when he was being abused by his father. As Konshu would have told Deku the whole story of, Moon Knight, his avatar, him being exiled by the Egyptian gods, him being a god, and Deku being sort of a demigod, or Egyptian demigod himself. Now, as Deku would have said, so if I'm half god, why do I have no powers? Why am I just a normal nobody? As Konshu would say, you're not a normal nobody. Your powers haven't developed yet, but your powers are just about to blossom. As Konshu would tell Deku to meet him on the edge, as Konshu would have looked at Deku and saying, now that you know you're the son of a god, do you feel better? Deku being confused, saying, I guess so. Konshu saying, great. Pushing him off the edge like nothing, bro. Basically, Deku started to fly down to the ground like a rag doll, him yelling for his life, as Konshu would have been slightly smirking, him saying he's gonna fly. As Anubis would have saw this from the underworld. And basically in this universe, Anubis would have been basically all-knowing. Not all-knowing, he wouldn't know everybody's thoughts, but he would have seen people's actions then and there, as he would feel the presence of a Egyptian god on Earth. Deku would have been flying down or falling down to the ground, as pretty much Konshu would have been, just watching him fall down to the ground, as a couple of the gods would have been watching this as well. Them knowing Konshu's on Earth, since he showed himself or materialized himself to, Deku. Since Deku was half human, he could still, see, like, shadow, like let's say a Casper or ghost type form of his father, or hear him, but not feel him, or basically talk to him. Now, basically what happened is Konshu would have been seeing Deku fall, and one of the other gods would have appeared behind Konshu, and me not naming him yet, as he would tell him that he's not going to fly. Basically, Konshu saying he doesn't have to fly, he just has to take the fall. Basically, the other god saying, I'm pretty sure he's going to die, Konshu, and he's your only son you've had, so you better catch him. The other god disappearing, as Konshu would have seeing that Deku was not going to land or Deku was not going to fly, he was starting to look closer. Him getting actually kind of nervous for some reason, since it is his son, and he literally has the power of a god coursing through his veins, plus the Moon Knight abilities, plus Egyptian god power is pretty powerful. So basically, what happened is pretty much Konshu would have seen Deku about to die. As Konshu would have had enough of it, him basically teleporting or appearing right below Deku and grabbing him, cradle style. As he would have told him, I have to work on that. Deku saying, what are you talking about? Now, if Konshu would have been in a kind of a suit type outfit, just like in the thumbnail, as Konshu would have told Deku to meet me, or pretty much talk to me. Him grabbing Deku, and them going into a tunnel, and them coming out of the tunnel in some sort of mansion. As this would be the old house of pretty much one of the, let's say 1800s Moon Knight avatars. As pretty much Konshu would have told him that he left the house in the care of an old woman. The old woman died, and the house is to the government now. But the government believes that I am a human. Me just giving off that vibe. Now basically, as Konshu would have told him that I put this house's new will into your hands. Him saying when you come to the right age, this house will be yours alongside all the other riches. Him showing a huge door filled with pure gold onks that contains some powers as well, but then mainly just being normal gold onks. And a couple other gold solid weapons and a bunch of other items as well. Him showing Deku that you're more powerful than you think, son. As he would teleport Deku to another room, kind of, Harry Potter style. And basically him telling Deku the, pretty much whole story about the Egyptian gods and everything, just a little bit more into detail. As pretty much Deku's father, or Konshu, would have told him that it's time for you to unlock your true power, son, for you to become a hero like you always wanted to, but also to strike down the fist of Konshu, vengeance. As basically Konshu would have told Deku that, won't you be my avatar? Deku saying, okay, father? Konshu saying you can call me Konshu, or father, yes, you can call me father. Now basically, as Konshu would have unlocked the power of Moon Knight in Deku's body, him instantly feeling the other emotions and other personalities in his body, him being transported into a white blank room, like a void, to be simple. As it would have been a void, him seeing other versions of himself, one with white hair, black hair, and a bunch of other stuff. Now, as the magic the magic through Deku's body plus the god blood, basically when Deku switches personalities, his hair switches color for some reason. Just plot. Basically, it's an anime. It's anime. What do you expect? And basically, pretty much when Deku's Mark Spector, his hair turns black. When Deku's Stephen Grant, his hair turns white. When Deku's Jake, when Deku's Jake, his hair turns brown, and basically he grows a beard out of nowhere, like a goatee, or like a, let's say, kind of like an old man Hawkeye type beard. If you just search it up on Google. Now basically, pretty much what would happen is, well, Deku would have talked to all these personalities, him telling them that, I can't believe I'm all you or you're all me. As he would have an hour-long conversation in his mind, as the suit would have been manifesting on Deku's body, kind of like a slow goo, moving at moving like an inch per hour, as the suit was just starting to, pretty much compromised Deku's body. As over time, the suit would have basically started to manifest over Deku's body, eventually getting all the way there, as the conversation would have cut short, as Deku would have gained some sort of common ground with his personalities, as he would be able to call on to them, but also being able to give them separate times of the day for them to be them. As pretty much Deku would have been out during the day or during the morning, and right a couple hours into the evening. The rest of the evening would have been Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, and Jake would have been out doing nighttime, and Jake would have been out doing midnight. Now basically what happened is, well, Deku would have been given the suit, him would open his eyes, and the suit being on his body. As he would have had a suit similar to this, a white, gray, and gold suit. It being very ominous, or it being basically just anime style, or to put it simple, exactly like the Marvel Spider-Man TV show Moon Knight. It being similar to that. As Deku would have said that it's a very cool suit, him looking more into it. As Deku's suit would have been similar to this. Basically, as Deku would have started to train with his suit, with his moon crescent shurikens, his bow staff, and also a couple other extra items, as in smoke bombs that would release a smoke that would have traces of gold flakes in them, giving like pretty much chunks of gold flakes. So if he threw it in somebody's face, they would inhale gold in their lungs and may kill them. But he had to make sure to throw it on the ground so he wouldn't kill anybody. Now, he also had normal smoke bombs that didn't have gold lacing in them. He also had a bulletproof suit all around. His pretty much bow staff would have been made out of metal that could have gone toe to toe with vibranium itself, and his bow staff also being able to repair itself as well if it was ever possibly broken or snapped, as it also would have been able to pretty much hit through trees or like very big oak trees in one swing. Now Deku's strength would have been on par with canon or comic book Moon Knight. Now Moon Knight's no Superman, but he's way stronger than Batman and maybe on the same level as Spider-Man. Now Moon Knight's feats of strength are pretty impressive, about the same power level as Spider-Man, or maybe the same strength level as let's say a couple others, but still. And basically, as he would be able to go, he would be about the same strength as 50% One for All, in this canon at least, him being very acrobatic, about the same acrobatic level as Daredevil, and a little bit of Spider-Man, but still being watered down on both levels. Him being able to keep up with Spider-Man or Daredevil, and even Aizawa, being able to even pass Aizawa in an acrobatic skill, but him still having not an edge over Spider-Man or Daredevil or anything. Now basically, doing this, as we see, pretty much Deku would have started to train vigorously with his body. Him eventually getting the same body that he would have in the 10th art training in canon. Him also having a training session at Daku Beach with Konshu, as Konshu had told him the power behind the suit, and also how the suit protected him by stab wounds, gunshots, and healed him if he was ever damaged through the suit. The suit also having more tech in it, or magical powers in the suit, since it would have had a little bit more of a tweak. Now basically, as the suit would have also had X-ray vision, also Deku, since he would have been half Egyptian god, since pretty much the Moon Knight avatar mantle would have boosted those powers, he would have been able to make Ongs that can trap powers like Konshu can, him also having most of the powers of Konshu actually. Deku being half immortal, him living about millions or thousands of years. Deku being able to live for eventually or technically forever in human standards, but in immortal standards, a couple millions of billions of years. Him being able to outlive Earth itself if he lived for a very long time. Now, Deku could still be killed by mortal means if he's not, if he's not suited up. And also, Deku cannot die normally, but he can still die. Now, a gunshot or a stab wound or being burned alive, Deku can actually come back from that. But if Deku was disintegrated, or his body was completely, just obliterated, it wasn't even a sliver left of his cell, he would be gone. Now, basically, Deku can regenerate as well, but not on like a Deadpool level, but kind of like a self-healing type level, as he can heal slowly. So if Deku was like killed by normal mortal means, he'll come back in like a couple of days. Like if he was, stabbed in the heart or shot with a minigun or just blown up, his body would slowly in a couple of days reattach itself. About, let's say Deku was, stabbed or shot, about like a day or a couple hours. And if Deku was like burned alive, a couple hours, and it would just be skin and your lungs being burned alive. And let's say what else? And that's basically it. Deku was drowned a couple hours, same. And basically, yeah. If Deku was like badly injured, like brutally, like Jason Todd, murked, like 2 or 3 days. And basically, yeah. So basically, what happened during these 10 months of training with Konshu, Deku would have inherited most of his father's abilities, but not all of them, since he would be still half god. Basically, there's a little bit of powers Deku will have from his father. Now, Deku wouldn't be able to possess people from the dead, but Deku would be able to heal people near death. Like, he could go and grab people before they're judged by Ahmed's, pretty much, or by Anubis's, weight. Basically going under or into the Egyptian underworld and grabbing them before they are judged by the scales. Being able to bring them back right when they're about to be judged or right when they're about to be permanently dead. Now, pretty much doing that, Deku also has an extra boost in superhuman strength without the Moon Knight powers. So he can go toe-to-toe with someone like, let's say, Kirishima without using his Moon Knight suit, and basically like Bakugo. So he'd be about 2 times stronger. No, he'd be about the same strength as Moon Knight, a little bit weaker since he would be half god. But if Deku really push his body, he'd be about as strong. He'd be about strong enough to pretty much go toe to toe, like say Superboy or something, being able to like grab a pillar, like crush a car, or maybe even break a building in two. Stuff like that. Superhuman strength. Deku has pretty much doing his, abilities, his power set, and basically his superhuman strength. It's all simple and pretty much mandatory. He's like a demigod of sorts. Now, pretty much doing this, Deku will have, let's just say, an extra boost in power, a god form, kind of like Plus Ultra. Basically, Deku's hair will pretty much glow gold, with his hair being white but glowing gold, and him basically having like a gold version of Ultra Instinct on his body. Him going into basically him being able to go god mode. Now, pretty much in his god form, Deku will be in more of a traditional Konshu type wrapped body, pretty much armor with a bone, like a giant crow helmet on, that basically makes him faster or stronger. Now, he'll mainly 50% of the time when he's in his god form, he won't have the helmet on. Now, it takes a lot of power for him to go god mode and a lot of emotional drive. So I'm only gonna be using god mode, like doing the One for All arc and maybe doing the overhaul arc. But other than that, you're not gonna see it doing like the sports tournament or anything like that. So yeah. So now basically, with Deku's abilities being at their peak at this point, they're being very trained near the peak. But when Deku gets older, his strength will go up, and his god abilities might, let's just say, implode or become powerful. Now, a little bit run over, like a quick summary of his powers one more time. The normal Moon Knight abilities, plus some of Konshu's powers, being able to pretty much take powers, aka quirks, and put them in gold onks, being able to use them for himself for a short amount of time, but also being able to give them to other people as well. But it takes a lot of Deku's power to make gold onks, because he's making gold out of nothing, out of thin air, and then taking somebody's essence or literally the one biological thing that makes them special, that is part of their evolution, and stripping that away from their body and putting it into a gold item made out of nothing. So he can only do like once or twice a day. Now Deku also, with his other abilities, he has, pretty much immortality, pretty simple, and self-healing, and also the ability to pretty much bring people from the glimpse of death, or bring people back from like literally death itself. Not bring back people back from like the dead, but bring them back right before they're permanently dead. And also Deku being able to, actually Deku will be able later on in the what if, he'll be able to, well, warp or control the sky like his father. But him needing help from his father, but him being able to, rewind the, sky, or make the sun into a crescent moon and stuff like that, but only once a day or once a night, because literally it takes so much power for Deku to change the sky, like Konshu, does with pretty much, how he turned back time thousands of millions of years with the sky. Spoiler alert for episode 4 or 5 of, or no, episode 3 of Moon Knight. As Deku would be training, we said Deku would have been told by Konshu that he would have to become a vigilante for now until he becomes a pro hero, and saying that the physical Konshu works in very gruesome ways. Now, it is very gruesome and brutal heroes out there in the My Hero Academia universe, kind of like is a doppelganger of Punisher in the America universe of My Hero Academia. Basically, pretty much Deku will be told to go on a vigilante trip. As Deku go on a vigilante type mission, he would make his way down into the deepest, darkest, very cruel and thug parts of Japan, him going there and looking for vengeance, as he would be told by his father that it is, or Konshu, that it is a very bad man here. As he would be looking around, as he would see Shigaraki basically talking to somebody about like a block down from their, operation, or from their bar. As he would be talking to Kirigiri, as Shigaraki would be talking to him, as in be talking in the alleyway. As they were about to dip and go through a portal, Deku would stop them and beat the brakes out of Shigaraki, kicking him right in the face, stunning him. As he would try to hit, Kirigiri, or the Shadow Court guy, as he would punch his middle brace on his body, him pushing him into a garbage can. As he would start to fight against the others, him going toe-to-toe with all of them, as he would take out his bow staff and starting to beat the brakes out of Shigaraki. Shigaraki touching Deku's bow staff being disintegrated, but him just making a new one out of thin air. As he would drop kick Shigaraki into the ground, he would start to beat him senseless, basically bleeding into a bloody pulp. As he would do that, Shadow Court guy would have teleported Deku into the sky, they would have dipped, and Deku would start to fall down to his death. As Deku would have taken out a kind of a, let's say like a makeshift, or like he would taken out pretty much a grappling hook that would go two ways, him shooting it, making a zip line between two buildings, basically stopping him using a lot of upper body strength to stop his fall. As he would get on the zip line, he would use his bow staff to zip down to another building and basically land through the glass of the building. As he would run through the pretty much glass of the building, him running as fast as possible, just seeing a white blur, the cameras and people just seeing white blur, meaning that his suit hasn't been, or his Moon Knight outfit hasn't been, exposed yet. As he would jump out the window and him landing Superman style on some sort of Lamborghini belonging to a pro hero, aka Hawks. Now basically, Hawks would have had this car just for, pick up girls, and also mainly just for, looks, because he didn't really need a car. He had a quirk, he could fly. But basically, he would have been peed off at Deku, trying to track him down and trying to go after him, as Deku would lose him very easily by a very, intricate system of just turning left 4 times around a building and dipping in the sewage line, or dipping into a manhole cover near the, near the alleyway of the building. Now basically, Hawks would have lost him, and Deku would have had to rummage himself through the sewage, but his suit was airtight, meaning that, his suit could get dirty, but it wouldn't get his body dirty. So if it was immersed in water, Deku wouldn't get wet, but his suit would. And as his suit would be, materialized back into his body, his suit instantly cleans itself when it goes back into his body. So if he got blood on it, or if he got sewage or, doo-doo on it, it would be instantly clean when he puts it back, or, materializes it back into his body. Now, as pretty much Deku would have made his way down to the mansion where his father would have been. His father would have been waiting for Deku, telling him that a good night tonight. Basically telling him to get ready for tomorrow, because that's when you're going to start your journey of becoming a pro hero and trying to get a better legal issue with the mortals, so you can easily rummage around and not run away from other pro heroes. As Deku would say okay, and basically as he would be switched to pretty much Jake, as Jake would have sneaked out of the mansion that night, him driving and him picking up some taxi drivers and him eventually picking up Overhaul. Before Overhaul would have the idea and make the big arc, pretty much he would be making a business deal. As Deku would hear this, him hearing the pretty much the makings of the Overhaul arc, but he would have just shrugged it off. As he would have dropped them off at his destination, he would have drove off, him writing that down into a journal where all the thoughts of Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, Izuku Midoriya, and Jake would have had all their personalities in separate, pretty much calendars or separate chapters in the book as they would write their thoughts. Now, we can switch to tomorrow morning as we see Deku get ready for the entrance exam. As Deku would go for the entrance exam, as he would pass by Ochaku, him not minding anything by her, him not, bumping into her or anything like that, or him not tripping in front of her. As pretty much he would make his way down to the, entrance exams, as he would just, get ready. Him not coming across, was it Ida or Bakugo. As the test would have started, as Deku would have sprinted past everybody, him materializing his suit, but him seeing that it wasn't working, it was just flickering. Him being told, or him having a flashback of the limitations of the Moon Knight's suit, saying it only comes out at the night, or right when the sun goes down. Pretty much Deku would have had an idea of him trying to turn it into nighttime, but him knowing that would be a big no-no, because his father said not to change the sky dramatically, because the Council of Gods would find out that or make it public that Konshu has a son. Now basically doing this, pretty much Deku would have started to sprint past everybody, him tapping into his god powers, and basically him being able to kick and bash into robots, him using his demigod strength, and him also pretty much kicking through robots and just moving as fast as possible, him having godlike agility or superhuman speed, him just having superhuman strength, but him being able to push it into his legs or body to make him run faster and move faster. Deku already being pretty athletic as it is with his body and training without the suit. So basically, as he would have just a white and gold version of his green jumpsuit like in canon, as he would start to run around at full speed, him literally running through robots, him still being cut and scraped because he would still be mortal, but with, demigod strength. And basically, as he would be running around, he would grab a pipe, or one of those carbide pipes that, are used for foundations and pillars, him pulling it out of a pillar nearby, and making a perfect spear, him hitting robots left and right like a baseball game. As he would eventually come across the zero pointer, he was about to sprint off when he heard a girl scream. As he would see, it was a brown-haired girl, it being Ochaku. As he ran over there, he used his strength to kick the pillar or kick the rubble off of Ochaku, and him grabbing Ochaku and sprinting away as fast as possible. Him using the middle spike or middle spear to push himself forward, kind of like a spear jump, and jumping over as high as he can onto another building. Him literally perching on the building using his god strength to dig his fingers into the building, but him also pushing back his skin in his hands, making his nails all, well, pretty much mushed together and, like, not mushed together, but stomped and, bleeding profusively. His fingers being destroyed, to simple. Now, his knuckles and fists and pretty much weird parts of his body would have been similar to, durable enough to handle his strength, the rest of his body, but other parts of his body wouldn't be as strong. Now, basically, this would be Deku's left hand for some reason. Deku's left hand fingers aren't durable enough to compete with his demi-human strength. Now, as Deku would jump off of the building at the 0 point and would run off, as Deku's fingers on his, the skin on Deku's fingers would have been pushed back and, like, right back. You see the muscle on his fingers as he would be rushed to his recovery girl with Ochaku, him being fixed up. The recovery girl would have had bandages on his fingers. As Deku, that night, as he would go back to the house after the alarm would have gone off, or the siren would have gone off, telling everybody to go back home because the entry exam was over, Konshu would have told Deku to use his suit to heal himself. As he would summon the suit that night, him going into a vigilante mode. As he would go out that night, him trying to figure out what was going on with Overhaul. As he couldn't find him, he would leave it as a empty case since Jake would have told Mark, because this would be Mark tonight. As Deku would have taken off a break to get ready for tomorrow. Now, as Mark would have gone out that night, as Mark would have sprinted around everywhere, basically him trying to figure out where they are, but him just leaving it as an empty case. As he would switch back to Jake and Mark, basically him being able to communicate with Jake through, the mirror, like in the show. Basically him saying, Jake telling him that, we just leave it off from now. But him being told a specific date on when their attack or strike is going to happen. As pretty much Mark said, I want somebody to feel vengeance tonight. I need somebody to feel vengeance tonight. As we would hear a girl screaming for the top of her lungs and running down Dago Beach near the, edge of Dago Beach, being chased by some sort of weirdo with a knife in his hand. The weirdo being a fat kind of a fat type of dirtbag type dude, looking kind of like the typical weirdo anime dude. Basically, as he would run after the girl saying, I'm gonna kill you, basically yelling maniacally. As Mark would have pretty much sprinted full blast towards the guy, kicking him down to the sand and almost breaking his spine, literally shattering both of his collarbones and leaving the guy in the dust, telling the woman to stop. As the woman would have said thank you and saying or asking what's your name, as he would say Moon Knight, as we were going to leave off pretty much that night. As Mark would have gone back to the house, him sleeping in his bed, and pretty much Deku waking up the next morning. As Deku would have woke up on the bus to the school, as pretty much Jake would have walked to school. Now, pretty much Jake would have walked in the back of the bus, him switching back to pretty much Deku, as the beard would have disappeared and his hair would have turned green. Him having his head down so no one sees the transformation. As pretty much Deku would have looked around, him looking into one of the reflective mirrors in the bus, him asking who did this, basically under his voice, just enough so no one can hear him. As Jake would have told him that I walked you to school, saying that I didn't want you, to get, first day jitters because we're already here. Him pointing and Deku moving his head, seeing he's already at the school or already at the stop he needs to be. As he would walk into school premises, him having to know from UA that night, as Mark would have gone, after the, bad guy, as Deku would look on his phone and seeing news about this new vigilante Moon Knight, basically the woman saying he was a guy wearing like a pure white suit. Basically him saying suit, not costume or uniform. Basically the woman would have saw Deku in the shadows, not really seeing, the crescent on his chest, just seeing him in the shadows, because it was pitch black on the beach. And basically, pretty much, the woman just said it was a dude in the shadows, and he looked like he was wearing white. And that's basically it. He looked like he was wearing white, and that was it. And basically, Daku was, relieved that no one has figured out his outfit or his suit, because he looks forward to using his suit in the future to still become a vigilante, but also become a pro hero. So he needs somebody not to figure out his suit just yet. Now, basically, as Deku would have made his way pretty much to Class 1A, as he would walk into Class 1A, as he would pass by most of the kids. As Deku would have made it to Class 1A, as Bakugo would see him, being shocked, saying, "Where were you?" Saying that my mom was very sick, and "Where did you go, nerd? You went missing during the 10-month arc training, during the 10-month break." Basically, as Deku would have told him that I was training. And basically, Deku looking at Bakugo on an eye level, since Deku would have grown a little bit, him being about the same height as Bakugo. As Bakugo would have told him, don't mess with me, boy. Basically, Deku saying, "I'm not messing with you. I'm just growing up. I don't fear you anymore, Bakugo." Bakugo throwing an explosion at Deku, and at this point, Azao actually would have been passed out. And pretty much when Deku dodged the explosion, he would have grabbed Bakugo's arm, him taunting Bakugo, making sure Bakugo knows that he can just break his arm. As Deku would have had his arm in a lock. As Deku would have punched Bakugo in the face, not enough to make him bleed, but just enough to stun him, pushing him into his chair, saying to stay down. Now, not much of the kids would have been there, since they would both be early, but pretty much Todoroki would have been there, and also Kirishima would have saw it as well. And they would be the only 3 students in there, as they would also see a couple other students a couple minutes later show up, and basically, as the rest of the students would have shown up, you would see that Azao would have woken up, when Ida and pretty much Chaku would have walked into the door, and all the class members would have been there. Azao would have told them what they're doing today, and they get ready into their sports outfits to do entrance exams, do quirk assessments. So basically, what would happen doing this, we would be told everybody would get ready to pretty much get ready. Everybody would be told to get ready and to be started. Now, as everybody would get in a single file line and start the quirk assessments, as Deku would be told to throw the ball first. As Deku would use his demigod strength, since it would be daytime, and would have chucked it pretty far, about almost out of the atmosphere, because the ball was pretty light in this cannon. So basically, so Deku just walked off. Now, pretty much, Deku, for his quirk, he said that his quirk was, Moon Knight based. Him just saying that he can materialize a suit, and he can materialize a suit and objects, and he also has superhuman strength, durability, reflexes, and agility. Him just saying the basic power sets, but not going into detail on how his powers are actually complicated a little bit. Now, basically, as Deku would have pretty much gotten ready, as Deku would have pretty much jumped over the sandpit with relative ease, the race Deku would get second place, and for the grotesque strength, Deku would have gotten second place. Altogether, Deku would get about second place in the quirk assessments, and pretty much Bakugo would have been mad at Deku, saying, "You're quirkless, nerd. How did you do that?" Basically, him about to throw an explosion as far as Deku would have acted faster than Aizawa could, him punching or gut punching Bakugo right in the chest before Bakugo could even throw the explosion, push him down to the ground. As Bakugo would have been stunned, falling down to the ground, him being, let's put it simple, folded, just out, slump. Now, basically, as pretty much Bakugo would have been, falling down to the ground, just gone, as pretty much Deku would have made his way back home after they would handed their syllabus and told to make their way back to their house. As Deku would go back home, as he would talk to Konshu, as Konshu would have told him that the fist of Konshu has to be given tonight. Now, basically, as Deku would have gone out tonight, him telling Mark that I got you ready for tomorrow. So pretty much Mark would have taken over tonight, or would have taken over that night. Now, as pretty much Mark would have jumped off the, pretty much corner of the building they were perching on, him landing Superman style on a nearby car, or actually a ran down car, since it would have been behind pretty much a car dealership. As Deku would have sprinted down, or would have sprinted across the roofs of Japan, him getting towards a muggery. As he would stop the mugging, pretty simple, just landing on top of the bad guy, breaking his spine, and kicking over to the curb and handing the woman her purse back. As he would jump right back on top of the roof. As he would go pretty much alleyway to alleyway, he would eventually come across, actually a deal, more of a, let's just say a white powder deal. White powder deal. That basically, what would happen is pretty much Deku would have interrupted the deal pretty quickly, him taking down most of the thugs stealth-like in the shadows. As Deku would eventually come across multiple of the guys, him saying, "What's up, dude? What's up?" And basically him starting to fight all of them. As hits after hits after hits right to the chest. Because if you don't know, Moon Knight's fighting style in the comics, he actually just takes hits to make his opponents even more scared. Because he's wearing a full-on white suit with, in this canon, with lights, with LED gold lights. And basically, most of the time the lights are turned off for stealth, but still, basically he's just being punched left and right, just taking beatings by the guys. And two of the guys have strength quirks that make them on par with even the likes of, let's say, Taskmaster, or maybe even Beast or the Thing. Kind of like Hulk type strength, as they would start to beat the brakes off of Deku. I mean, beat him senseless. I mean, Deku was getting his butt handed to him. Him being dragged like a rag doll. Him just being jumped by these two burly guys. As Deku would eventually get up, him taking two white crescent shurikens and literally cutting the back of both of the guys' ankles and stabbing through both of the guys' shins with both shurikens or moon crescents in each shin, as they would both get knocked out by one foul, like side-to-side split kick right between both of them, kind of like Shang-Chi did in the trailer to those two assassin guys. Now basically, as Deku would have started to sprint around, taking down guys left and right, him taking bullet shots to the chest by one of the thugs, his chest being actually the most durable part of his suit, and him just running right towards them. As he would dodge most of the bullets, he would take a like a straight up Goku type punch to the face, punching the guy so hard, his clothes fall off. I mean, like.
But we ain't stressing anything, it's still purple everything.
Basically, Mark would have just dropped that dude. That dude would have been sent into the water by the dogs, basically him running around at full speed. As he would have been passing by most of the thugs, taking them down with shurikens and his bow staff, him basically taking them all down in a matter of seconds. As they all be dropped like omelets, and just being, let's just say, dropped. Simple, just dropped. Like, they were just folded. They were done. As pretty much Mark would have taken them all down, him about to leave, but being stopped by Shigaraki. Shigaraki had told him that why are you here? Why are you here again? And Shigaraki would have gone to a fist fighting position, him about to take down, Deku, him having his fingers all out and stuff. As Deku would have said, cute. As Mark would have said, cute. Him throwing a shuriken right towards Shigaraki, cutting his arm. Now basically, as Shigaraki would have got in pain, him having like an inch deep, pretty much scratch or wound in his bicep, as Deku would have sprinted right towards him, giving him another one of the clothes fall off punches, pushing him back, as pretty much Shadow Guy would have appeared, grabbing Shigaraki and, just a dude. Now basically, as they would have left, pretty much that Mark would have been left behind, as Mark would have made himself useful, Jake taking over, and him going on his taxi driver route, him driving multiple different thugs and big gangbangers back down to multiple different areas, him getting some information leading to more cases and even more vigilante hunts that might involve the final fight of pretty much My Hero Academia. As pretty much, I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. This video is probably like 40 minutes or maybe another hour long. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. Sorry if it's a little bit too long, but my videos are at least like 30 minutes to 20 minutes long. Now I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys later. And stay out and keep your eye out for that stop motion. Deuces.